Hi everyone, Nick here. Today we're going to be looking at this week's weekly event. It's a third from F1 2019 and somewhat excitingly it's using classic cars around Monaco. So none of that multiplayer car that we've seen so much, and in come a variety of cars ranging between the 2003 Williams to a trio of cars from 2010. The 2010 Red Bull seems to be quite popular on the global leaderboard, but 2009 Brawn seems to be very popular on my friend's leaderboard. But what car should I pick? So I figured the best way to decide was to drive them all. So first off, here's the 2003 Williams. Now when I first started driving this, I expected it to be all horsepower and that's about it. But it handles alright. You can tell it's not very good through the corners. It's not bad, and it loves a lockup, as you'll probably see in a moment when I come down to Mirabeau. There you go. But all in all, it's not too bad. I imagine around something like Monza, it would be ace. So moving on to 2004 and the 2004 Ferrari. Now this is clearly a step up from the Williams. It's got that straight line speed, but it also handles well through corners. It's got grip. It's a very, very good car. And I really like driving this one. And when I was going round, I was thinking, this could be a contender to actually use. The opposite could be said for the 2006 Renault, which when I started driving it was just the opposite. It's slow in a straight line, doesn't really have much grip. I mean, it looks nice, I'll give it that, but other than that, not really much to recommend about it, unfortunately. So that was straight out. The 2007 Ferrari is maybe a little bit of a step up from the Renault. It's got a very nice front end, it responds well. It's not very fast in a straight line though, and it is the most lock-up prone car I've driven for a long time, so we'll pass on that. The 2008 McLaren is even worse. It doesn't have traction control built into it, and it has grooved tyres, so it has no grip. So as soon as you try and accelerate, it wants to kill you. That's not a quality I look for in a car, unfortunately. But then moving on to the 2009 Brawn, with its slick tyres, it has so much more grip through the corners. The whole of Sector 2 is lovely in this car, and it's very good. I was wanting this car to be good when I first started driving it, and it delivered. What surprised me though was the 2010 Red Bull, because this is another league from the Brawn really. It's even grippier, it just dances through corners, it's a lovely car. It could do a bit more straight line speed, but that's the Renault engine for you. And you know, you can get round that on a track like Monaco, where it's not all about straight line speed. The 2010 McLaren doesn't handle anywhere near as nicely. It doesn't have as much downforce. It probably does have a bit more straight line speed, but you can't use that here that much, and not enough to compensate for its rubbish cornering. I was quite disappointed by how bad it was. On the flip side, I was quite surprised by how good the 2010 Ferrari was. It's not quite as good as the Red Bull, but it handles nicely, it's got good straight line speed, it's nice and stable, and it's nice and red. What more could you want? So I had a couple of cars in mind. I was thinking, do I go for the one that's definitely fastest? Do I go for one that I like? Which one do I go for? So I figured the best way to do this was via science. So which car could do the fastest lap? So cue all 9 cars all at once, and let's see who wins. Obviously the most scientific way you could do this. I did have everything on the default balance setup to make sure that everything was fair. It does mean that some cars that seem a bit more prone to understeer, if you were actually going to do it in a race you might tweak that, and vice versa if it's a bit understeery, but I figured this was the fairest way of doing it. And just to make sure that the first cars that I drove, which were the 2003 Williams and a 2004 Ferrari, didn't get disadvantaged by the fact that I've done 40 odd laps and become much better at the track, I went back and did them again. I didn't do that for the Renault, the 2007 Ferrari and the 2008 McLaren because basically I hated them, so I didn't want them to improve. And in the end there were two standout cars. I won't say which because it will be spoilers for when they cross the line momentarily, but they ended up only being separated by a few hundredths, so it was pretty close in the end between the top two. But as I drove the cars, I kind of knew which car I was going to drive regardless. So there you can see them crossing the line, and probably not unsurprisingly, the 2010 Red Bull is the winner, edging out the 2004 Ferrari, and then from there 2010 Ferrari, 2009 Brawn, and the rest kind of much of a muchness. So I don't want to disobey science, so I decided to go with the Red Bull. I bumped the AI up to 100 after last time it was too easy, and the AI repaid me by being basically a complete menace to me. As you see from their view, they decided to just drive into me down the straight, or up the hill anyway, so that was good. The game also seemed to be a bit glitchy. I was doing the fuel management program, as you'll see here, and I crossed the line and get a nice purple. But then when I went back to the pits, it said I'd failed it, which was complete nonsense. So I went out and did it again, and went back to the pits, and now I had my purple, so that was good. I then went and did my quali program, got a green, didn't quite get a purple, was only just off. It said I got a green, that's absolutely fine. And then when I get my score at the end of the practice sessions, I didn't pass it. So I've lost out on those points. Don't really get it. Apart from that, it was mainly greens and purples. The AI were getting in the way a lot, unfortunately. So it wasn't the cleanest run that it could have been. Into qualifying, and my first run was a bit wobbly, as you'd have seen from that exit from Anthony Noakes. And we did a 1:14.3. My second run was compromised by catching an AI, although they were nice enough to give me a tow down the pit straight, and I managed to bump nearly 4/10 off of my time. Now, my third lap was actually my best lap, although when you see it you probably won't agree. As we go through Saint-Devote, it's not too bad. We've lost nearly 2/10 actually, unfortunately, on our previous best. So we go around the top of the hill, bit wide. Going to go through Casino Square. Yeah, okay, not too bad on the entrance, but exit probably go a bit wide. Through Mirabeau, that's just miles wide. We go through the hairpin. That's not too bad, although we're tapping the wall on the outside. Then back down the hill through Portier. Miss that apex entirely, so we're late on the throttle. And we're 3/10 off the pace here. Through the tunnel, braking for the Nivelle chicane. That's not too bad. Probably could have been a little bit tighter there. And down to the back, we're going to throw it in. Don't quite get the apex, so again, we've lost a little bit of time there. Through the swimming pool. That's not too bad. We take a lot of curb there. Now through Rascasse, bit of a lock up, very close to the barrier on the inside. And then back through the end of the lap, could have been a little bit tighter there. A little bit of loss of the back end, and we're going to beat our previous time by just under 3/10 and do a 1:13.690. But I knew I could go faster than that, and on my next lap I was going much faster than that, except I decided to ruin it by hitting the barrier at Rascasse. And then on my next lap I decided to do the exact same thing again. That's the only 2 times I ever did that when doing this. I don't know. Anyway, my final lap, I made a mess of the chicane coming out of the tunnel, lost a part of my front wing, and that didn't help. I was actually still better even with the broken wing on my next lap, but invalidated at the chicane. So yeah, that 1:13.690 was my best in the end, and I knew I could go much faster. Incidentally, I did an offline practice race for this, which went well, as you'll see from this. Well done, AI. Great work. Anyway, into the actual race itself, and I'm happy to say we actually had some people in the lobby for a change. The 2010 Red Bull was popular, The 2003 Williams was in there. There's a couple of Ferraris from 2010. Someone even went for a 2006 Renault, which is a bold strategy, I'd say. But yeah, we were in the race, second on the grid. Starting in this car is a bit of a challenge because, as I say, I did practice races to see how it would start, and at no point does it actually tell you what the optimal RPM is. So let's go with it. Revving it hard, shift up into second, get away at least not as bad as the people behind, and manage to get into turn 1 successfully. Something happened down at Sandoval there with a Ferrari, and some people have probably just died completely. And I was a bit conscious, but it's a 20 lap race and I didn't want to do anything silly on my first lap. And as a result, I ended up probably being a bit more tentative than I really should have been. I mean, it is obviously a bit different between time trial and qualifying and a race because of the fuel loads and the grip levels and stuff like that. But even as I was going round it, I was thinking, this is a bit tentative. You probably do want to try it and go a bit faster than you are there. And that's probably where I started thinking that, and then cut the chicane. But you can see there, just 2 attempts to go into the back, just not very smooth. Going through the second part of the swimming pool there, that was actually okay. Through the Rascas, little lock up, but nothing too bad. I was conscious obviously about hitting the barrier on the inside. I was also conscious that the car behind me, Tofty, was driving a Williams, which is very high top speed. And I was right to be concerned because he flew up the inside and sent me into a wall, which was great. Here's a view from the highlights. Yeah, I mean, maybe I could have given him a bit more space, but he was bouncing across the curbs. Really, mate? Anyway, lap 5. I've now dropped to 5th because of that little spin, and Tofty has now taken that. Gives me a nudge as he goes past. I mean, that's the power of the Williams' BMW engine flying past. I wasn't too upset by that. I knew that he was faster than me, and I was hoping I could use him as a battering ram, which kind of worked. As you can see, he spanned there. We've gone back up to 5th. There's still some yellow flags out as someone round the corner is dead. Don't know if they had a coming together or not, but yeah, back up to 5th again. So, fast forward to lap 9, and we've got some more yellow flags ahead of us, and there's been a collision between Wattman, or B. Wattman, don't know, either or really. He clearly got some damage from that though, and he duly pitted at the end of the lap. So that was us up into 4th position. And I still felt like I had okay pace even though I had a broken front wing, and was able to get into 3rd when another car pitted. But unfortunately for me, by this point, Tofty was doing 15.8, which was 7-8 tenths faster than me. And with that engine behind me, we all knew what was going to happen at the top of the hill. So we just let him do it really. Let him go through there, and again it's follow him through and see if we can pick up, well, whatever happens when he barges his way through really. So the first thing we're going to have to do is navigate some AI cars who are being lapped, and the second half of this race is all about the lapped cars, I'm afraid. So we've got Ashley Giles up ahead. He's going flat out in the tunnel, he's going flat out, all fine there, and then decides to brake. I'm amazed I didn't die there, but you know, cheers Ashley. Anyway, we come through to lap 14 and we're now catching some more lapped cars. Tofty's come a cropper there, he's now spun, and that's put us up into 3rd. Again, not sure if he's crashed into one of the cars there, but when we get down here, there's a dead AI car on the right hand side, there's a ghosting human player up ahead who's disconnected, so something's going on, but not sure what. And speaking of the car in front, we've now got 2 cars in front where we've got to try and lap, one of whom is the AI and one of whom is someone who's disconnected, obviously an Alonso fan going by his name and car choice. So the AI is controlling him, but he's ghosting. So this was always going to be quite fun. One of them pulls out, lets us go through into turn 1 of them doesn't, but we can drive through him, so I don't know. Anyway, more lapped cars up ahead as we come through the hairpin, and obviously we don't want to drive into the back of them, so we're keeping a little bit of a distance. Going through here though, and well, Tofty's decided that that's a valid place to try and overtake. I don't know what you're doing there. Again, from another angle, that's a bit of a lunge, and then he just continues driving into me, sends me round, and that is some severe wing damage for me. So rather than trundle round with that, I decided it was time to pit. The field behind was getting quite stretched out, so I only ended up losing 1 place doing that. So I was back down to 6th again, and back behind our mate Giles here, who lets us through this time, but we've just seen FIFA Legend, who already was a bit hard to lap early in the race, and just decides that no, he's not going to let us through there. So that new front wing that I had has already gone. And he proceeded to just hold us up for another 1.5 laps. So the next lap we're coming back up the hill. He's had a bit of a wobble, we go round the outside, we've got a run on him, but he's just not going to let us through, and we run out of track. Not really sure you're allowed to do that, mate. And after the race I checked to see the race director to see if he got any warnings. He didn't. So yeah. Anyway, he hit the inside of the chicane there and was out of action, and I was more than happy to, well, not take the place, but see the back of him. Stick to FIFA, mate. You might enjoy it more. But yeah, we ended up finishing 6th, which after starting 2nd is not good, but after all of the nonsense in the actual race itself, probably isn't too bad really. But it did mean that my score was, 280,000. It's okay, but I did feel like I probably should have done better. Anyway, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then what are you waiting for? And also, if you're participating in this week's weekly challenge, let me know how you've got on. What car did you choose? Let me know in the comments below. But until next time, and the next video, goodbye.